Hello and welcome to a quick review. I'm going to try and kind of do this fairly. Like I don't want. I could really talk a lot about this film, and it's something I don't really do this that often anymore these days. And that's just do a movie review, just a film that I've watched, make a review about it. I just filmed a review for Home Alone in terms of like the Blu-ray, which is what I normally talk about. And given the fact that it's a Christmassy film, and the film I'm talking about today is a Christmassy film, I thought I'd leave that one up. But yeah, I don't really do just like, hey, here's a new film I saw and here's a review for it. But I wanted to talk about this film. I'm probably going to mention it in my top 20 films of 2020 when I make that video. But I wanted to expand upon it a little bit more and give you some background information about my anticipation for this film, and the film is called Happiest Season. This film is written and directed by Clea Duvall, who is an actress primarily, and is also co-written by Mary Holland, who plays one of the sisters in the main family of this movie. And I was really intrigued by this one because of the cast, I have to say. This was, I don't know if it was announced, it had to have been announced sometime this year because they only filmed it at the beginning of the year, but at some point on Twitter, I think it was, I saw an image of Mackenzie Davis and Kristen Stewart together as a couple, and it was, here's this new movie they're doing. It's a Christmas romantic comedy, and I thought, holy shit, I have to watch this film. I am in for this one. And there's a very specific reason for that. I love Mackenzie Davis and I love Kristen Stewart. That's pretty much it. Like, I just have really grown fond of both of them as actresses over the past maybe 5 years or so. I think that the range that Mackenzie Davis has is really interesting. She can play a real great, tough badass who still has this vulnerability to her, like in Terminator Dark Fate, and she can play someone who has such a playful sense of warmth and kindness and charisma in a film like Tully. And so I'm just really drawn to anything that she does. And then there's Kristen Stewart, who, hands up, I liked Twilight when it came out. I liked Twilight before it became Twilight. I went to see that film when it came out because it was just a film that came out. I really liked that. I read the book. I quite enjoyed it. I'm into romance stories and teen romance stories. Well, maybe not so much now, but back then when I was in my early 20s, I was. And then it just became this whole thing about, Team Bella, and not Team Bella, Team Edward and Team Jacob, and it was all this, just, it kind of ruined the series, I think. It got more and more, it leaned into that kind of teen heartthrob stuff, and I suppose the first one did as well. But, I've always liked Kristen Stewart, and I could see some of the criticisms of her acting and stuff, but I've always thought that she was pretty good. And in recent years, I've really grown to love her style of acting. It's kind of this weird, super believable naturalism that I've seen her in films like Still Alice, in films like The Clouds of Sils Maria, Personal Shopper. There's something about her I will say that maybe it does feel a bit like she's just playing the same kind of character or same kind of person every time, but I'm drawn into it because I don't see a character. I just see, well, no, I don't see an actor. I see a character. But at the same time, it's almost like I don't see much of a character, but there's just this inherent kind of believability to the things that she does and has done recently. And I'm really intrigued to see other things that she's done. I know she's about to play Princess Diana, which is really intriguing. I can't see how that's going to work, but I'd like to see her maybe stretch out a bit in terms of more, I don't want to say overt characters, but things that are outside the realm of being more natural. I don't know, I'm just intrigued to see how far she can stretch her acting muscles, I suppose. But I do really just love the stuff that she does, and I just get drawn into her performances, which are just very low-key. And that's the reason that makes, I don't know, it's weird. I can't describe it in a way that makes sense, but it just does to me, and I do get drawn in. And it's not even a thing of I find her attractive or anything, which is absolutely a thing. There are people who you just have the hots for, and you're like, I really like watching them on screen. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not the case here. There's just something interesting that I get drawn into, performance-wise. And here, it was pretty much the same. And I think they had great chemistry together as this couple. Kristen plays a girl called Abby, and Mackenzie Davis plays a character called Harper. And they're together. We have this kind of cheesy opening credits where we see kind of the stages of their relationship, getting together, moving in together. It's Christmas, and they're having a nice night out together. And Harper says to Abby, why don't you come home for Christmas to see my family and meet my family? And she's like, okay, cool. And then the next morning, you see that Harper instantly regrets this and is like, oh, well, you don't like Christmas anyway. And she's like, no, it's cool. Let's go. Okay. They drive, to another. I guess it would be another state or another city. I think that it's fairly far away from where they live. They go to Pittsburgh, I think. And on the way in the car, Harper admits to Abby that, yeah, I'm not really out with my family. I lied about that. Okay, good luck. So they kind of agree that they're going to pretend to be roommates, not lovers. And this is really interesting because earlier in the film, Abby was saying to her friend, played by, what's his name? Dan Levy, who plays the kind of gay character that usually grates on me in terms of, the way that they, I think you can really overdo a character like that in a film, and I've seen it done many times before where it just comes off as annoying to me. But he really danced a fine line and was actually quite funny, and I quite kind of enjoyed his character. But he is Abby's friend, and she tells him that I'm going to propose to Harper when we go home to her parents for Christmas, and I've got a ring picked out and everything. This is my favorite person. I wanted to be my person, all this stuff, and now she finds that the woman she was about to propose to hasn't even told her parents that she's gay and that their relationship doesn't exist. And so this kind of lends itself very well to comedy, but also to drama. And I feel like it did a really great job of not going too far into the comedy to the point where you don't really care about the story, and it didn't go too far into the drama where it becomes really bogged down in super seriousness. But it does it enough that it really provokes you, because you start to really feel for Abby when Harper is just kind of dismissing her, and they're going to parties and stuff over this 5-day Christmas period, and she's just leaving Abby, just ditching her basically, and just speaking, hanging out with her ex-boyfriend and her old friends. And I find this really interesting because I've seen criticism online of how Harper, Mackenzie Davis's character, is a really bad person and a toxic person, and so because of the way she treats her girlfriend. And when the film first started, I thought, yeah, but that's why the film, the plot of the film needs to happen, because that's the, I don't want to say it's the joke of the film, but it's kind of the concept in which, the comedy arises out of this situation where they're trying to hide the fact that they're lovers when, they can't really show any affection and stuff. And it lends itself well to funny situations, but it also lends itself well to really provoking and frustrating situations. But I thought that what it really does smartly is it puts you in Abby's shoes and her perspective, because I started to really grow to dislike Harper because of the way that she was not even hiding everything from her family, but the way she was just ditching Abby and really treating her like an acquaintance more than anything, not even a friend. It was maybe that's a bit extreme, but there's certainly, she just really shuns her a lot of the time. And it's like, wow, what a piece of shit. And you just feel like, and at one point I was like, she should just leave. Forget the climax of the movie. Let's just fuck off. Or just end it, because I knew that they were building up to some big reveal. But I just thought, circumnavigate that. Let's just fuck this bitch. Honestly, the way she's treating her is horrible. And there's even a moment when she goes out all night with her ex-boyfriend, and the next morning, Abby's saying to Harper, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "What are you talking about? You're suffocating me, And I've had a relationship where that kind of happened, and I really felt like I wasn't suffocating this person. And they're like, "You're just keeping tabs on me, and I can't go anywhere without your permission." It's like, no, that you're blowing this far out. So I really connected to that in an uncomfortable way, and that really made me think, fuck this person. Just leave, get out of there, just cut all ties, But then the film keeps going, and it's frustrating, and there's a big blowout and everything. And then I think the perfect moment, they show you Harper's side of it. And in theory it sounds like it makes sense, and you think, okay, if we see her side of it, it makes a bit more sense. It's not cool, and it's clearly an issue that she has that she needs to work through, and that she's not comfortable with telling her parents that she's gay. And it's really well built in terms of you understand why. She has sisters, and there's competition between them, and there's this very much a feeling that for her family, she needs to be perfect and presentable, and it's all about image, and her father's running for mayor and all this stuff, so it's super important. And maybe that part of it is a little bit heavy-handed in terms of the whole mayor, running, for a political position and all that kind of thing. But it's just something where it's you understand it, but you still have gone through Abby's shoes in terms of the whole situation, so you really feel the hurt and kind of the betrayal in that, and that really stings. And so even though you finally get to see Harper's side of it, and she explains herself, and she does the right thing, and Abby's just like, it's too late, And then we cut to Harper, and her reaction, like, is, oh my god, it's such a fucking brilliant piece of acting. It's like a 5-second shot, no dialogue, just Mackenzie Davis acting her ass off, and I felt like her heart had been ripped out in that shot. And it wasn't over the top. It felt so raw. And in that moment, in that 5 fucking second moment, I felt that everything she was saying was true. And all the regret that she felt and the guilt she felt was real and raw and honest. And it was like, fuck, that was such a great moment because, instead of it being about, they tell the parents and the parents like, oh, I can't believe this, my daughter, no. And the movie becomes about convincing the parents that to still love their daughter or something. It was more about the actual relationship. And it deals with these questions of who are we when we're around different people? How comfortable are we being our true selves in front of other people, in front of our family, in front of our friends, with our partner, with our loved one, and who is the real us? And then it just heightens that into this I don't want to say larger than life situation, because these situations do happen. And I think it's a great through line to explore for a lot of gay people who are going through this, and it might help them. And I've seen people tweet that they're lesbian and they've gone through something similar to this, and the movie really resonated with them and meant something to them because of that. I think that's really cool, and I just like the fact that it is two women. It's a Christmas rom-com, and while the whole story is very much about one character being closeted and not coming out and stuff, I hope it paves the way for more just, the kind of films that we always see a man and a woman. Why not be two men? Why not be two women or anything else in between? I just like that we're starting to break out of that mold a little bit. And eventually I hope it can just be a thing where it's not even like, oh, the gay Christmas rom-com. It's just like, no, another rom-com. Like, I hope we get to that point. And I'm aware of how that sounds, and it really feels like I'm trying to earn brownie points, but it is just the way I feel about it. And it was just like a nice, refreshing difference for a Christmas rom-com, I thought. And it is really funny. There's some fucking hilarious moments. The character of Harper's mother, played by Mary Steenburgen, she's fucking great. She has picture perfect comedic timing. It's so it's so funny. There's some, like, the way that they're kind of hiding their relationship. Yeah, it goes to some kind of fairly obvious, like, kind of scenarios that set up, like, they sneak in together overnight, and then they wake up in the morning and some kids come downstairs. She's hiding behind the door. The kid sees her through the crack in the door. So the typical kind of setup, but just like the random things that the mother would say, where Abby, bless her, is like, she's trying to like ingratiate herself with the family, and she's like, oh, hi, how are you? And they're just kind of like, oh yeah, she's trying so hard to be nice and to kind of be proactive in terms of meeting the family and stuff, but it's difficult because they don't realize that she's there for more than just being a friend. She's actually the partner of their daughter, and there's a moment where they ask Abby to take the Christmas photo, which the mother is fussing over, like, we need to get this for Instagram and everything. And so Abby's like, okay, say Christmas, and holds up the thing, and the mother's like, no, don't say that, just smile. And the timing of it is funny. There's just like there's a certain, I don't know, because with comedy there can be a funny line, and there's a way to say it that isn't funny, and there's a way to say it that is funny, and then there's a way to say it where you're making it even funnier by just the cadence and the tone. And Mary Steenburgen just seems to find the right pitch for everything. Like, she's so funny in the film, I thought. Aubrey Plaza, and it's a great cast, and Alison Brie. Alison Brie's character Sloane was like the kind of bitchy, successful kind of sister, and I felt like she was a bit cartoony, and kind of the stark shift in her personality towards the end didn't really ring true for me. Mary Holland, the co-writer of the film, plays the middle sister, Jane, and she's like this nerdy kind of, energetic. It doesn't really fit with the rest of the family, but she's true to her fucking self, and that's a great character, I think, for people out there who are like that, to see that kind of character in a movie who just says, you know what, I'm worth something because I'm me and I fucking like myself. And I think that's a really cool character. And she's like this fantasy writer, and I loved her payoff in the film. And yeah, so I really loved the film. Is it a great film? Not really. It does veer at times into kind of that Hallmark kind of territory. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that it's a film I'll watch again and again. It's just, I think the heart of it is really sweet, and it has that maybe predictable side to it, but at the same time I really felt that the fact that Harper is painted in a really unlikable light and fashion in the film really made the movie, because then it isn't just, again, like I said, it isn't about other people's acceptance. It's about her own self-acceptance. And then, you know, the fact that she's damaging her relationship, and now that just gives the character of Harper this huge hill to climb in terms of reaching a redemptive arc. And that's ultimately what the movie is about her finding some sort of redemption, and Abby trying to reckon with this reality and truth about her partner. And I just found that to be a really compelling storyline, even if it did paint one of our main characters in, you know, a bad light. I just thought that it felt more human in that sense, and that people do fuck up, people do make mistakes. Second chances, you know, can be earned, should be given, and that was ultimately a positive message that the film gave. But it was tricky, you know, again, like, I was feeling like, fuck her, you know, like, I really, and I loved that I felt that, and that my mind then changed because of the way that she performed it. You know, again, it's all down to the acting, I think, that really sells these more complex character journeys, I think. And it feels like I'm giving the film more credit than it probably deserves, but I genuinely do think it was a brilliantly told film, and it's just it's a nice family film. It's just a little bit different. I just like that. It was really, really good. And, you know, funny performances. And I think there was something else I wanted to mention, and it's kind of like slipping out of my brain as I talk. So I was talking about the character stuff, and the conflict, and how it's a little bit different, and the point of view. No, it's gone. It's really gone. I had one more thing to end on. Don't you just hate that when you're making a video and it's like, okay, I've hit all the key beats, and there's one more thing, and it's gone. It's just vanished. But I really enjoyed this film. It didn't disappoint for me. I do feel like it'd be one that I go back to again and again, you know, as the years go by. And it is just bugging me about the that one thing, that there's something else I wanted to mention. Maybe I'll just edit it in somewhere, I don't know. But otherwise, I don't know, I'll leave a gap here. No, it doesn't work. I can't think of a way to edit it in or think about what it might be. But it's just one of the... Have you seen the film? Let me know if you've seen the film, what you thought. I definitely am in the minority. I saw the people I know who've seen it on Letterboxd rate it like 3.5, and that's fine. I think that it is maybe a 3.5 to 4-star film in a lot of respects, but for me, I went like 4.5. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Like, it was, okay, I found it. I found the one thing I wanted to leave on, and in typical Luke fashion, it isn't really anything at all. It's not even a good point. But I wanted to say that with this film, because of the storyline and the way that it was going, I literally, and because of the way I love those two main actresses, I literally, from every single scene in the film, was really looking forward to where it was going. Like, I was always interested in the next scene. There are movies like this where it is this kind of, there's a romance story, Christmas rom-com family movie, that kind of thing, where it does lull a bit in the middle, and maybe this lulls for other people, but I was always interested in where's it going next. What kind of, you know, mishap and what kind of misunderstanding we're going to get into next, and how is that going to progress, and will that character find out this, and will that character know this at this point in the film, and where's this leading to, and how is this going to be reconciled? And I was always moved. I thought the pacing of the story was really well done, maybe not in terms of the actual physical pacing time-wise, but just I don't know, from scene to scene, I was just really vibing with, like, where's it going next? Where's it going next? And, you know, when me and Connie watch a film, we'll pause it to get a snack or something. And whenever we paused it, I was just literally just like, let's keep going. Like, I want to know what happens next. And so I thought that was a real good strength to the film, that I was really into it to that degree. I'll leave it there. It was one of my favorite films of the year, I think, and didn't disappoint. And I would recommend it as a really good film. I don't want to overhype it. It's just a film for me that I personally really loved. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.
He's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.